Alright, so this audio commentary, as it were, by Quato is inspired partially by the YouTube user lifeishowitis. Her latest video was about homeowners associations and how she doesn't believe that they are um, a free society, a microcosm of a free society, and doesn't think that that's what a free society would look like. And I think she's probably right about that. But this video isn't actually about that issue per se. It just really got me thinking. Again, I think about this a lot, but speculation as to what a free society would look like, what types of rules people would adopt, I think is ultimately pointless. It's like with anything in the market, we cannot predict what form it will take. The only thing that I can say that I know about a market-based law system would be just what I know about any other good or service that is produced on the market, is that the pricing system will help people to cooperate with one another to produce these goods. Rules and goods and services that get produced are the goods and services that people most want to cooperate with one another to produce. That's how that works, and it's the same kind of thing with laws and rules. It would produce the kinds of laws and rules that people were willing to cooperate to produce. That's all I can really say about it. The wonderful thing about capitalism is it is a system of human social cooperation. But the specifics of how these rules would, these produced rules and things like that, how they would look, or what form they would take is ultimately pointless. It's pointless to speculate about that because there is no possible way to know beforehand what direction the market will take. I think there are some ideas that have been posed by some academics that sound kind of convincing, like the whole insurance agencies thing for protection and law. I mean, it sounds like a good idea on paper, but will it work on an actual market? We have no idea, and we can't know. We can only know that if we allow the production of law, legal services, and everything to be done by a market, that it will be done in a way in which social cooperation is maximized. That's all we can know. And the reason I don't like speculating about these things, it's like the whole free rider debate, which I will be addressing. No, not me. Which the Sauce will be addressing on his channel. That's not this one because we're not the same user. Eventually, that's going to be down the line after I've made a bunch of it. He's made it. Fuck. Oh my god, I'm seriously not trying to do this. When he gets around to doing those, it's going to be way down the line. He has other videos to do first. He will address the arguments that people have raised about the free rider problem, but ultimately, I think those arguments are moot anyway. We just don't know what a total market would look like, and we can't know. And that to me is actually not an argument against a market. That is actually a very strong argument for a market in these services. This is precisely why we need a market. We need a dynamic system of experimentation to discover which ways that rules should be produced and which rules should be produced and, quote, enforced. We have no idea what, quote, enforcement will be, how that will be done. I have my own speculations on why I think that violence probably wouldn't be the primary method of dealing with these things, but again, I don't know. I can only say that these things will be produced in a way in which social cooperation is maximized to produce the laws which people want and are willing to pay for. So that's basically it. There's just no possible way we can know how these things are going to operate. And so for me, for the free rider problem, it's like to say that, this one thing, because we assume that goods and services are produced in this one particular way, and people are going to pay for them in this one particular way, and that this one particular way is going to lead to a natural monopoly, and it's going to incentivize people to bring in Latinos who are going to want to create a state, and the non-free riders will want to, there will be incentive for them to commit violence against the free riders, and all this other stuff. That is, there's so many assumptions about how things will happen on a total market, so many speculations that that premise that argument that I find it holds no water whatsoever. We cannot know. I would say that there's probably a good chance that none of the solutions that have been proposed by academics, or YouTube academics for that matter, for how a free society would handle law and legal services and everything, there's probably a good chance that none of those would be selected by the market. And that's the whole argument to me is moot, and that's why I don't like speculation. There's no way we can know beforehand, and there's just no point to speculating about it. We can demonstrate, though, that markets produce cooperation. Markets are cooperation, essentially, and states are simply destruction and consumption of wealth. There is no cooperation. There is hierarchy and slavery, and that's about it. That's the difference between the two. Do you want to live in a social system in which cooperation is the means by which ends are achieved, or do you want to live in a social system in which the arbitrary whim of several groups of people calling themselves the government decides how your life and how rules are produced happens? I mean, that's not even a sentence. Wow, that was a terrible sentence. But which would you rather live in? Which social system do you prefer? I prefer the one that is based on cooperation, and that's about it. That's what every single one of my arguments essentially boils down to. So say we all.